Corporate brainstorming workshops don't create original ideas. In my 20 plus years of client-side and agency, I've never seen a truly new idea come out of that room. Because real creativity needs specific conditions, and no amount of facilitated team building with tea is going to unlock it. So let's rewind and really think about what creativity is. Innovation is recombination. New things that are usually made by combining existing things in a new way. And that new idea sits in what's called the adjacent possible, a space that's just ahead of where you are now. It's in the next room, but you can only see that room when you're close enough to it. Stuart Kauffman, the theoretical biologist, came up with this idea, and he has a great example. The printing press wasn't invented from scratch. It was a recombination of existing movable type and a wine press. So the real question isn't how do we brainstorm harder, it's how do we create the conditions that let us reach that adjacent possible? And that's where the 4 steps of creativity come in. Step 1 is knowledge. You're not going to invent an engine if you know nothing about engines. And you're not going to design a loyalty program that genuinely shifts behavior if you don't understand loyalty mechanics and the psychology that underpins them. Step 2, new glasses. Not medically, but cognitively. Something has to change so you stop seeing the problem through the same old frame. A strong vision or a strong goal applies pressure, and it forces us to test which constraints are real. Most teams aren't trapped by lack of ideas. They're trapped by invisible scripts. Step 3, the garage. Stephen Johnson, author of Where Good Ideas Come From, talks about creativity as works of bricolage. You need a garage full of things that you've seen in adjacent worlds. Gaming, social media, payments, subscriptions, service design. Stuff that might have seemed irrelevant at the time until suddenly it isn't. That's how movable type meets a wine press. Step 4, movement. Creativity isn't sitting in a bath daydreaming. Despite what the Archimedes story suggests, the bath didn't create the idea, the problem did. And the insight arrived because he was already moving towards a solution. In real life, movement looks like building, testing, prototyping, shipping. Because you don't think your way into the adjacent possible, you walk into it. And when you combine deep knowledge, a vision that's strong enough to break through the status quo, and a garage full of adjacent parts with momentum of movement, that's when the adjacent possible reveals itself. And this is also why workshops fail. They try to generate novelty without the prerequisites. Ideation isn't a team sport. As the Eureka factor puts it, groups can inspire, refine, and implement. But the basic truth is that ideas originate in individual brains. And that's why over my career, I keep coming back to the same line. It's easier to critique than to create. Creativity isn't magic. It's preparation colliding with movement. Preparation means mastery of one domain and curiosity across others. Movement means a vision big enough to crack the frame and permission to push forwards. So if you're designing a loyalty program that's genuinely innovative, you don't need a bigger committee. You need a small number of people with deep loyalty fluency, a garage full of adjacent parts, and an exec-sponsored goal that forces the team into the next room. Because that's where new ideas are. They're not on a flip chart. They're in the adjacent possible, revealed only once you start moving.